each equation. Number 1 says y equals negative 3/5 x plus 2. Right, I know on this one all of these are going to look like lines. I'm going to start with the number without the x on it, so I'm going to start at the 2. That means my y-intercept is 2, so go up to y equals 2 and put a point. From there, my slope is negative 3/5, so the top number is the rise, and the bottom number is the run, so this negative 3 means we're going to, instead of going up 3, down 3, so we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, and then we always run to the right, so we're going to run 5, put my second point there, and then I'm going to connect them, and I've got my line, and make sure you remember your arrows. Number 2, again, I'm going to start at the number without the x on it, so I'm going to start at the -4. That means we are starting down at -4 on the y-axis, and then from there my slope is 3, which would be 3/1, so from here I'm going to rise 3 and run 1 to the right. And then go ahead and connect them, and that would be my line. Number 3, we have 4x minus 3y equals 12. There are a couple different ways to do this one. I will work it both ways, so you can just fast forward through the way that you did not do it. I'm going to do the intercept method first, which means to write it 2 times. And the first one we're going to cross off the y because we're letting the y be 0, and then the second one we'll let x be 0, and now we're just going to solve for each variable that is left. We'll divide both sides by 4. That will give me x equals 3, and then we'll divide both sides by -3, and that gives me y equals -4. That means this graph touches the x-axis at 3, and it touches the y-axis down at -4. So those are the intercepts, and then we can just go ahead and draw a line connecting those two. All right, the other way, if you did the bonus video way where we're solving for y, I would subtract 4x from both sides. So I'd get -3y equals 12 minus 4x. I'd then divide all 3 parts by -3. So then I'm going to put my answer up here. I'm going to get y equals 12 divided by -3 is -4, and then a negative divided by a negative will be a positive, but then 4 divided by 3 does not work out right, so we'll just keep it as 4/3 x. So now if you go to graph that, if you go down to -4 and put a point, and then from there we're going to go up 4/3, which brings us to the exact same line that we got doing the other way. So either way is fine. Okay, x equals 4. Since the x-axis goes this way, and x equals line is going to go the other way, so we just need to go over to x equals 4, and then we will just draw a line vertically. Number 5, 5x plus 3y equals 9. Again, I will work this both ways, so feel free to fast forward through whatever way you did not do. So I'm going to use the intercept method again first, which means write it 2 times. And then we'll first of all let the y be 0, and then we'll let the x be 0 because we're trying to find the intercepts. On this first one, we'll divide both sides by 5 to get my x. So x will equal 9 divided by 5 is 1.8. And then 3y equals 9. We'll divide both sides by 3. I'll get y equals 3. So that means this graph touches the x-axis at 1.8, which is almost to 2. And then it also touches the y-axis up at 3. And then we can just go ahead and connect those points. Oops. Okay. Now if you did it the bonus video way, where we're putting it in slope-intercept form, we would subtract 5x from both sides. So I'd get 3y equals 9 minus 5x. We're going to then divide everything by 3. So again, I'll come up here to put my answer. I get y equals 9 divided by 3 is 3. A negative divided by a negative is a negative, and then we'll have 5/3 x. And so if I'm graphing that, I'd go up to 3 and put my point, and then we're going to go down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/3, which brings me to exactly that same line. All right, number 6, we have y equals x plus 3. I'm going to put a 1 in front of that x right now. We're going to circle the number that doesn't have the x on it, so I'm going to circle the 3. So we're going to start up at y equals 3. And then from there, my slope would be 1/1, which means I'm going to go up 1 and then to the right 1 and then connect it. And then that's what my line would look like. All right, number 7, y equals -1. If the y-axis goes straight up and down, then a y equals line is going to go across. So we're just going to go across to y equals -1. Here's y equals -1. And we're just going to draw a horizontal line. Right, number 8, x plus 4y equals 4. Again, we have an equation that we are going to have 2 different ways of working. Again, I'll work the intercept way first, which is to write 2 equations. First, we'll let the y be 0, and then we'll let the x be 0. So if I, whoops, this is supposed to say equals 4, sorry about that. This first one, I don't have to divide by anything. It just tells me right flat out x equals 4. On the second one, we'll divide both sides by 4, and I'll get y equals 1, which means this graph touches the x-axis at 4, and it touches the y-axis at 1, and then we are going to go ahead and connect those two and form a line. If you worked at the solving for y way first, we have x plus 4y equals 4. Again, I'm going to put a 1 in front of that x. I'm going to subtract 1x from both sides. So I'll get 4y equals 4 minus 1x. We'll divide all three parts by the 4. So I'll end up getting y equals 4 divided by 4 is 1, minus 1 divided by 4 is just 1/4 x. So I'd start up at 1, and then from there I'm going to go down 1 over 4, which gives me the exact same line.